Hariom. So we're going to look at our micro lesson number 3, which is the revision asana. So basically the point of this lesson is for you to be able to get your students to focus and relax in an asana through different techniques and to encourage them to develop a stronger connection between their mind and their body. So basically, this is a pose that they've already learnt previously in your classes. So you're pretending that they've learnt it with you, and you're just going to be taking practice. So here you can see the points. First, an introduction with a short explanation of the practice, remembering they've already done this pose. Explaining the purpose of the asana. So for example, you might say, okay, we're going to practice Majarasan, the cat pose, to loosen up our spine and remove any tension in our body. For number 3, you're going to instruct your students that they should release the posture if at any point they feel uncomfortable or if there's any pain. So releasing it as in coming out of the position completely, or it may be that they take a simpler variation as per their comfort. Then instructions for performing the asana. So when you're going to get them to come into the pose, you're going to be using the breath. You're going to be giving instructions for the movements. It should be slow, it should be relaxed. And once they're in the position, you want to make sure that they're going to be breathing normally. And they can also focus on relaxing the areas that might be a little stressed. So for example, if you're doing, say, Ugrasan, the ferocious pose, you may talk about relaxing the hips, the bottom, the inner thighs, the lower back. So there are certain parts of the body that are going to be a little bit more stressed. So making sure that they're relaxing as much as possible, that they're focusing on relaxing. And of course, you can also give instructions to relax the body parts. And depending on how long you're holding the pose, you might be able to go quite detailed with that as well. But of course, it will depend on the length of the position you're holding. Then encouraging students to maintain the asana. So there's lots of ways that you can give encouragement. So you can talk about the benefits, you can talk about the full position, you can talk about relaxation, but remembering that you don't want to be pushing them, you want to make sure that they stay comfortable all the time. So you might also say when in the position, remember that you can always release it if it's uncomfortable for you, or take a variation. And then you're going to give instructions for releasing the asana. So you can use the breath or you can just use the movements. In pregnancy, sometimes we're using the breath and sometimes we don't. The reason being that sometimes we don't is because sometimes we're doing it slower than we normally would. But if it's possible to use the breath, then it's always a good thing. Because if we are talking more about the breath, then she becomes more and more aware of herself. And then you can see the points to remember. So the asana should be steady and comfortable. The breathing is correlated with the movement as much as possible. The position should be held to receive the benefits. And of course, each position, there are different lengths of time that it's going to be beneficial for. Some positions may only be for 20 seconds or 30 seconds, and others can be for much longer. And then, of course, comfort in pregnancy and using props or variations as needed. So this is our revision asana. So now looking at micro lesson 3 checklist. So making sure you have a nice introduction, and it may be where you say, oh, remember we learnt this pose last week, so now we're going to take practice of this pose. So, reminding them what it was, because, if it's been a week, they can forget. So a little bit of information. You may talk about the purpose, like, okay, now we're going to do the legs up the wall, so we can just relieve any tension that's there in our feet and in our calf muscles, and also get rid of any water retention. So it's nice to give that purpose. Then you want to make sure that you're going to be giving encouragement. So encouragement when they're in the position to maintain it as per their comfort, and there's many ways to do that. Giving variations to suit pregnancy. Making sure that you're going to give breathing instructions, so if possible when they come in and out of the pose, but definitely when they're in the position, it's also very essential. And of course, relaxation instructions. It should always be comfortable. And by talking on relaxation, by talking on the breath, we can do that. And of course, giving the different options. So this is about our checklist, and now we'll see a demonstration. Hurry on. So today we're going to take practice of a pose that we learnt last week, which is Shashankasan, the child's pose or the hare pose. So just to give you a little reminder, this is where we are coming onto sitting on our bottom with our knees apart in Vajrasan, and then we're going to slowly bend forward. So let's practice this. Remember here that it's always important that you're comfortable, and remember our options like we talked about last week. So if you don't feel comfortable to bring your forehead down, or baby's getting a little larger, you can use a bolster, you can use a cushion, you can use a chair, you can use your fists, or you can just keep your hands outstretched. So whatever is most comfortable for you. So let's come into the position. So come into Vajrasan to start with. So Vajrasan, where we're sitting on our heels, our knees are bent here. And remembering here that if you do have discomfort, if you do have any pain in your knees, you can take another option, or you can use cushions. So from Vajrasan, we're going to spread our knees apart. So our big toes are touching and our knees are apart as far as it's comfortable for you to go. Now inhale and exhaling, slowly bending forward as far as it's comfortable. Okay? You might stay here, you might go further, you might bring your forehead down. You can have your arms relaxed in front or down by the sides. So you can just stay in the position while I'm speaking to just relax your body. Take a deep breath in and out. And again, in and out. And just allowing your body to relax. Relaxing your pelvis. Relaxing your back. Feel that with every breath you take, your body's relaxing that little bit more. And remembering, if it is a little uncomfortable, you can always take a variation, or you can always come out of it. And this position is really, really helpful for reducing back pain. It's very soothing, very calming for the mind, especially if you're feeling a little anxious or a little angry or worried. It's just breathing normally. Relax your face. Just scan your body, check how it's feeling, and try to breathe into any areas of tension that you may be feeling. Okay, now we're slowly going to prepare to release the position. So very gently exhale and inhaling, slowly start to come up. Don't come up fast. And then exhale. Okay. Normal breathing, bringing your knees together in Vajrasan. And then you can slowly release your legs, so you can bring your bottom to the side, bring one leg in front and the other leg in front. Coming back to our sitting position. Hariom.